today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks to help you stay out of the drive-thru, save some money, and still save some time.
Welcome back to another video, and if you're new here, my name is Leah, and here at Savvy Saute, my goal is to help families go from wasteful to wise, to use what you have in the best way possible and enjoy while you're eating. In other words, spend less, create more. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, consider subscribing, become part of the Savvy family so you don't miss out on any future videos, and stick around. This one's going to be a good one.
My number one tip for staying out of the drive-thru or from ordering pizza is to have food at your house that is already ready to go. All you have to do is heat it up, or maybe even not heat it up if you don't really want to. So this does not have to require a lot of work. You can still save money if you're just looking for the convenience aspect. You can go to the grocery store and buy things that are prepackaged, ready to go, and it's still going to save you money than if you were to go out to a restaurant. You will definitely save even more money by doing it yourself. But if you are looking to save a few dollars and you really want convenience, I would highly suggest going to your grocery store, go to the freezer section, and find something like a lasagna or a pre-made pasta dish. One of my favorite things to buy at a grocery store that is pre-made is some sort of stir-fry and chicken vegetable pack. My favorite one ever is from Trader Joe's. They have a really awesome Japanese style vegetable fried rice, and then I pair that with one of their chicken dishes. It's all from the freezer section, and my favorite one is the Kung Pao chicken, and we also really like the Mongolian barbecue. Everybody talks about the orange chicken. That's another really good one, but if you're looking for one that is not fried or breaded, try the Kung Pao. It's so good. So I always keep that on hand. Another thing that I think is a go-to for a lot of families is a frozen lasagna. It is so simple, so easy to throw together. You can microwave them, you can put them in the oven, you don't have to defrost them, so easy. So between the two of those meals, you're looking at anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, start to finish, no thawing out necessary. So those are my top two. You can also do a frozen pizza. That is an amazing go-to. Your kids are gonna love you for it. I mean, honestly, you just can't go wrong with a frozen pizza. You can get something as simple as $1 for Tostinos, all the way up to $7 for a gourmet one. The Great Value brand has amazing self-rising crust pizzas, and they're less than $4. So definitely snag a couple of those up, keep them in your freezer, and on those nights that you just want something fast and you don't want to have to cook anything, you can pull them out. You're going to save money, way cheaper than going to McDonald's. So my number one tip is to have things in your freezer that is ready to go. So to save even more money than to buy things that are pre-made, you can do them yourself ahead of time. You can spend 30, 45 minutes on a weekend or whatever day works best for you and just knock out like 10 freezer meals, get them into your freezer, and whenever you just need that quick meal, pull it out, defrost it, stick it in your Instant Pot, stick it in the crock pot before you go to work. It's going to be so easy, and you're going to save a ton of money. There are a ton of freezer meal videos out there. You can look up crock pot recipes, Instant Pot recipes. The internet is so full of information for you on that topic. So I would suggest typing in dump and go or crock pot recipes or freezer meals. So easy. Some of my favorite things to prepare for myself and stick into my freezer that I have made would be soup. It's number one. I feel like soup always freezes and defrosts really, really well. I also like to make my own lasagna, get that into the freezer, and then you can just put that into the oven. It's really easy. I like to do some kind of casserole. Usually I prefer to do rice instead of pasta when it comes to a casserole. I think rice freezes really well. If you do a pasta, you're gonna want to cook it more on the al dente side and make sure there's lots of sauce, more than you would normally do. Otherwise the noodles can get kind of weird. So I wouldn't suggest doing pasta cooked all the way if you're going to freeze it. A super, super easy and delicious freezer meal would be enchiladas. So simple. I feel like everybody loves a good Mexican dish, so enchiladas would be really awesome to stick in your freezer. You can also do taquitos, which you're just going to be rolling up in tortillas, some meat, some cheese. You can bake them ahead of time, flash freeze them, and stick them into bags. And then whenever you just want a couple of them, pull them out, they're not going to be stuck together because you flash froze them, and then just pop them in the air fryer or in your microwave and you're good to go. Last but not least, good old meatloaf. I feel like is a really good kind of dish to have prepared it in your freezer. You just defrost it in the microwave or the night before, and it's not going to take very long to reheat. My second tip for staying out of the drive-thru is to have partially prepared food in your freezer. Now, this consists of mostly meat. Some of the fastest dinners I have ever made are because I already had meat cooked and frozen. What I like to do is when I purchase a big family pack of chicken, or if I get a roast, I will cook all of it. Instead of portioning some of it, freezing, I will cook the whole amount, and then I will portion cooked meat into my freezer. Whenever I'm like 15 minutes before dinner should be served, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to thaw out meat. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've got cooked chicken strips, or I have shredded pork. I have cooked meat that I can just pull out, defrost in the microwave real quick, add some sauce, and serve it with a side. It is the easiest, fastest thing ever. Just batch cook a whole sheet pan of chicken, portion some of it out, and then have some things to go on the side that are really easy to pair with it. The kinds of meat that I like to stick in my freezer would be cooked chicken. I like doing cooked ground beef, and then you can add sauce to it before or after. I usually have a bag of bolognese that I've made, which is a meat and spaghetti sauce. Then I will also have some that is just ground beef that has onion, salt, and pepper, and then you can add your own taco seasoning or whatever else you want to, sloppy joe mix. Super quick, just a basic ground beef. I also like to keep a shredded chicken, shredded beef, or shredded pork, something shredded, in my freezer. That way I can just defrost it and add a sauce to it, like barbecue sauce or teriyaki. You can then put it onto a dinner roll. You can roll it up in a tortilla. You can put it with some rice or even pasta. You can also do burgers that are either pre-portioned by yourself, or go to the grocery store and get the burgers that are made already. Have them in your freezer. They cook so fast, and you get to have a cheeseburger if you're craving that. Do not underestimate the power of cooked meat in your freezer. And if you're worried about it coming out tasting weird, I've never had an issue with that. My family has never known that meat has come out of the freezer after it was already cooked. It's a total game changer to have meat in your freezer that is just ready to go. In addition to the meat that is cooked, you're also going to want to have some easy side dishes to go with it. So have the sauce that you know you're going to need. Always keep a jar of tomato sauce or a bottle of barbecue sauce. I like to keep frozen vegetables. That way I can just pop them in my microwave and they cook in 4 minutes. They just steam. Or a can of vegetables if that's your style. It's super easy to have rice that has been cooked and in your freezer. I do that all the time. I just cook a big batch in my Instant Pot, and then I portion out different family size portions, stick them into my freezer. It works out great every single time. Just steam them in your microwave. You can also do the bags that are 90-second cook and just stick them in the microwave. You've got cooked rice in less than 2 minutes. And then of course there's minute rice. You can do rice on the stove, start to finish, done in like 6 minutes. So something easy like that. Pasta will take a little bit longer, and I don't really recommend freezing pasta, but you can try it and let me know if you enjoy frozen pasta. Also, I like to keep tortillas on hand. I like to keep some kind of wrap. I can do some of that frozen meat, stick it into a tortilla, stick it into a wrap, make a salad. If you have some kind of spinach or lettuce, it's really easy to take that meat and turn it into a salad. Options are endless. So I keep those on hand. I also like to keep some kind of potato. If you want sweet potato, regular potato, or even instant potatoes. They're not expensive and you can keep them in your pantry for a pinch. I always have them in my pantry because I think they make a really good thickener for soup. But if you like instant potatoes, keep a bag or a box in your pantry. That way it's something that can be easily whipped up to go along with some of that frozen chicken or meatloaf.
Not only do you want those things to be easy, but also fast. I've been mentioning a lot of things that can be whipped up super quickly. You can choose something like a microwavable packet. You want it to be fast.
Another really fast thing to keep in your pantry would be canned meat. Don't underestimate canned chicken. It is really good. And if you throw it into some pasta or you make a buffalo dip with it real fast, no one's gonna know. It's awesome. You can make a soup out of it really fast. So I definitely recommend having some canned chicken and even canned tuna. You can do a tuna casserole or tuna helper. Those are really great options. So I always like to keep some kind of canned meat on hand as well. Especially if you lose power, it's really nice to have something that's already cooked that is shelf stable. And then last but not least, on my fast cooking items, I love having beans that are already cooked. You can get the cans of beans for like 50 cents, and that's no big deal. They're not expensive. But what I like to do is spend even less money by having a bag of dried beans and then cook them in my Instant Pot, portion them out into family size portions, put them into my freezer, and then I have a really good protein. Even if I don't want to use meat, I have beans. So that's a really fast way to add some protein to your dishes. The fourth thing that I think is really important in a way to keep us out of the drive-thru is to have some restaurant dupes. And what I mean by that is if you are tempted to go through the drive-thru, not necessarily for convenience, but because you are craving Chinese, because you really, really want Chick-fil-A sauce, then what I suggest is to always have something in your freezer that is going to be just that satiating meal that you're going to be craving at some point. So at Walmart or even at Costco, there are different versions of the Chick-fil-A dupes for chicken. You can get waffle fries, and they even sell Chick-fil-A sauce. You can get the Walmart brand as well. But you can have your own Chick-fil-A at home, even on a Sunday. So it'll keep you out of the drive-thru most likely if you already have the things at home and you can do it yourself. And then you don't have to wait in the drive-thru. You already have all the ingredients at home to make what you're craving. If you want fries from Rally's, they have that in the freezer section. Curly fries from Arby's are in the freezer section. You can have some kind of Chinese dish if you are going to be craving pot stickers or egg rolls, crab ragoon. They have all those things available at the grocery store, and it's still going to be cheaper than takeout. The fifth thing that I suggest for staying out of the drive-thru is you have to meal plan. So if you're just going day to day thinking, well, what are we gonna eat tonight? A lot of times you're going to succumb to the thing that we all do where we just don't want to think about it. We don't want to figure it out. We don't know what to do. Nothing's thought out. And if you meal plan, you're going to be more likely to eat at home. And in that meal planning, I think what's really important is to have your things organized. If you have your meals listed on the fridge, that's great, but also have them in your fridge, not just the ingredients, but have some things pre-taken care of. If you know that you're going to be needing to use ground beef and onion and pasta for a dish that night, then have the onion and the beef sitting right there when you open the fridge, ready to go for that night. And make sure you have the pasta sitting out on the counter right there. It's going to remind you every time you see it, we're having pasta tonight and we're going to make it and it's going to be great and I want to use it. I see it. I got to get it taken care of. Along with having your things organized that way and making sure that your meats are thawed out, to do that, I always keep a list on my fridge of what needs to be thawed out by a certain day, so that way it's not last minute and then I forget. But you also want to prepare for those nights that you're not going to want to cook. You're not going to want to cook from scratch, and you're not going to want to have to make sure that you chop the onions and boil the pasta. So prepare for those moments in advance by having super easy things on hand. Keep that in the meal plan. Maybe it's really fun for you to be like that overachiever and say, we're going to have a home cooked meal every night this week, and this is all the meals and blah, 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 blah. And you're ready to go, and you have these grand ideas of what you're going to be cooking every night. But if you're like me, some of those nights are just not going to happen. So what I like to do is every week I plan out 5 meals that I'm going to be cooking. One of them is going to be super easy. For a 6th night, we're going to be having leftovers. I'm not even cooking at all. We're just having leftovers. And then for the 7th night, I put takeout because I know we're going to want to eat out. Eating out does not have to be taboo. And the point of this video is not to keep you out of the drive-thru or from ordering pizza for the rest of the month or for the rest of your lives. Takeout, drive-thrus, they're not bad. I think it's part of a fun, balanced life. We just don't want to do it as often as we have in the past. And this is some of the things that have helped us. So if this video has helped you, if you've been inspired, or if it's given you new ideas, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments some of the things that you really appreciated hearing today, and share your ideas and tips as well. We'd all appreciate hearing from you. So until the next video, I will see you in the comments.